Hi, I'm Forrest Tanaka, and welcome to part 3 of Your Own Photography Website Without Coding. Now, at the end of part 2, you had a real WordPress basic website running on your own host. So let's see what we'll cover in part 3. We're going to cover administering your WordPress site. So that'll mean making blog posts and just getting a feel for the WordPress dashboard, which I'll get into. And then we'll cover how to change how your site looks, and that means WordPress themes. And that'll be the end of part 3. So as far as administering your WordPress site, what we're going to cover first are the two faces of WordPress. WordPress has a front face that your visitors see and a back face that you see to maintain your website. And we'll go over logging into the WordPress dashboard, which is the back face. That'll only take a moment. And I'll give you a brief tour of the WordPress dashboard and all its capabilities, which is a lot. Then I'll make a new blog post, an example blog post. I'll go over how to add photos to your blog posts, and then we'll go over adding pages and menus. WordPress has a concept of a page and a post, and so I'll go over what those differences are and how to make each one. Every WordPress site has two faces. Now, one's the obvious front face, which is the one all your visitors see, but it also has a back face that's easy to switch to, and in WordPress it's called the dashboard. Now, of course, your visitors can't see this. The only people who can see this is anyone who has a login account to your site, and in this case we only have one user account, which is the one I called System Administrator. That's why we can see this, because we're logged in as a System Administrator. And of course, it's easy to switch back to the front face. And to show you that this really are just two faces of the same site, look at this string, which is sort of a tagline for the site. It's a standard part of WordPress. And by default, it says, just another WordPress site. Let's change that. So let's go to the dashboard. And so this is sort of a preview of the tour. And I'm just going to change this text here to say, an amazing photographer. Save that. Now let's go back to the front face. Now it says Deanne Arbus, an amazing photographer. So this is just the very beginnings of how to administer your WordPress site. Now let's look at how we can log into our user account. Here's your domain name. In this case, cleanphoto.forresttanaka.com. In your case, it would be the domain name that you bought. But you just go to the end of it and type in WP for WordPress dash admin, ADMIN. Hit return, and it takes you to a login screen. And there you type in your username and your password. And if you want to have it remember, you can. And then you click Login. Okay, and now we're logged in to the back end, just like you saw before. And so let's take a tour of this back end. So this column is always here. And again, this is WordPress 3.3.1. And this did change fairly recently, the way it kind of acts. But for the most part, it's been pretty stable over the last several WordPress releases. And this is the main content part, which changes depending on what's selected. So this is the main panel, the dashboard, which you can get to anytime by clicking this dashboard with the home icon. I rarely do much with this page, but it gives you some interesting information about it. And as we go down, we have posts, which is where you enter or edit your blog posts. Media, where you handle digital information, I guess you could call it. Things like movies, attachments of any kind, and photos go in here. Although you may not even need to deal with this, because you can insert photos directly into your blog post and they end up here. And we'll cover that later. Links, I hardly ever do. Pages, this is where you enter your non-blog pages. Things like your About page, Contact page, and we'll cover that. Comments is where you administer your any comments that people leave on your site. Appearance handles anything about the way the site looks, including WordPress themes, plugins, are to handle WordPress plugins which extend the functionality of a site. Users is for user management, if you wanted to add more users or change information about a user, change your password, for example. Tools are just various things, including like exporting your WordPress configuration. And settings are just general settings. When I changed the tagline from just another WordPress site to an amazing photographer, that was in settings. So that is a really brief tour of your dashboard. For once you just start your site, you're probably mostly concerned with settings, posts, and pages, and also themes. But that's just, you may only deal with that once. So after that brief tour, let's take a look at how to make a new blog post. And it's really easy. Go to the menu on the left side, hover over Posts, and then click Add New. You can see the main panel changes here for Add New Post. You can enter a title, and here's where you enter your post. So let's do that. We'll call it Welcome to my new site. Now we need some content. I like to just go to one called html-ipsum.com. This is a site from Chris Collier that generates lorem ipsum kind of sample text. So it's just a nice easy way to do that. If I can select here. That should be enough. Now let's paste that in here. Maybe make a couple paragraphs. There we go. And you can see that there's some extra tools up here, like you can make certain things boldface. It's very easy to use. You can have a list of things like item 1, item 2, item 3. You can select those 3 things and make a bulleted list or a numeric list. And just some other things. Oh, we can make a link here. Let's link to, who should we link to? How about google.com? You can enter alt text, Google's homepage in a new window. And click open it in a new window, and there we have a link. That'll go to Google. And then how do we make a blog post? Well, now that we've entered all this text, you just say click publish. Okay, so now we have a published post. Let's go back to our homepage, the front-facing side, and see what we have. Here we have our homepage again. But now, welcome to my new site. All our text, a link to Google that opens in a new page, and a way to reply to it. And if you click on this, see, this is our homepage for this site, and it just shows all your blog posts all stacked on top of each other. But you can click on the title, and it goes specifically to that post. Pretty much like the free hosting that WordPress does. So that's easy. We can go back to the home page by clicking here or by clicking on this home menu. And there we go. That is our first blog post on this new site. Now that we've made a blog post, let's make another one. But this time, let's add some photos to it. You're starting a photo website, so it makes sense to have blog posts with photos. So let's have a look at how to do that. WordPress has a pretty nice interface to attach photos to posts. So let's see. I'm going to create a new post. But before I do that, let's take a look at when you just click the Posts menu here, just on the top level, and you'll see this, which is a list of your existing posts. Really handy, especially once you get a bunch of posts, to be able to see this. You can choose one to edit or choose one to delete, that kind of thing. So let's click up here to add new. Okay, so we've made a new blog post. I'll just call it Here Are Some Photos. And I'll go to HTML ipsum again. I'll put in some longer paragraphs just to fill up that space. Alright, so paste, 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 paste. Okay, so that's 4 paragraphs. Now I'd like to put a small photo right at the beginning, let's say on the right, and then another one on the second paragraph on the left, and we'll put one between paragraphs in the center, and then we'll put one just right at the end. Okay, so what you do is you put your insertion point where you want the photo, and this was really simplified a lot recently in WordPress. There used to be this row of icons here. Now there's just one, and that's to attach any kind of media file to your post. And so let's click that. It brings up this dialog box, and then it says either drop files here or select files. We'll do select files because I'm running this desktop really small right now. It's a little bit awkward. And I have some in the slideshow, or sorry, the downloads folder. And we'll add this photo of crepe. Okay, and it uploads it. It recompresses it actually. It also makes a square thumbnail. And we should give it a title first. We'll call it a crepe. Some alt text that goes into the alt tag, which is good for, especially for screen readers, and also search engines use that. So we'll call it a crepe, and we may even want to add a little more with chocolate and bananas. Okay, and we'll add that to the caption as well. That also helps your search engine ranking. Description I really would never do. Link URL. In this case, we'll just leave it here. That will be a link to your upload, and we'll see how that comes in later. And where do you want it? I wanted it on the right hand of the paragraph, so I'll click the right radio button. And let's see, the original size is this 940 by 626 pixels. This is a smaller size. We'll use this medium size. That should work nice. And you'll see this thumbnail size is 150 by 150. Remember I said the thumbnails are square. By default, the thumbnails are square. This is actually controlled by the theme. In this case, the theme just has a square thumbnail. So we'll just do the medium, which will have the full size, but scaled down. Or I should say the full photo, uncropped, but scaled down. And now we'll insert it into the post. But I will also click this featured image, and we'll look at that a little bit later. Click that, insert into post. Okay, there we go. So on the right side, so let's go to the next photo. We want it on the left side of this paragraph. So I'll click this again, select files, and I'll take this drifting photo, and I'll call it drifting. And again, we'll add a little more detail in the alternate text. Drifting at Infineon Raceway in Nissan. Add that to the caption. This time we'll put it on the left. Again, the medium size. And only one image on a post can be featured, so we'll just leave that. Insert into post. Okay, so there's our first photo on the right. Our second photo on the left. Now let's go at the beginning of the third paragraph. I want a photo in the sort of centered here between these two paragraphs. So I'll put the insertion point at the beginning of the third paragraph. Click that same media icon, select files, and we'll insert the Golden Gate Bridge fireworks. Okay, this is we'll call it Golden Gate Bridge fireworks. I think I'll just use that for the alternate text and caption. And we'll do the medium size again, but this time centered. And we'll insert it. Okay, you'll see it's centered between these two paragraphs. And the last one, I'll put before the fourth paragraph. And we'll scroll back up. Insert the last photo, which is Toby? I don't remember. Oh, my dog, okay. I do remember my dog's name is Toby. I just didn't remember including that photo here. So I'll call it a Toby the Corgi. Okay, and that should work on all of these. Maybe in black and white. Okay, and I'm just going to say none. What this means is it'll insert it as if it were another character of text. Just right in line with the text, and I'll show you that. Again, we'll make it medium, insert it into the post. Okay, so there we go. You see it's on the left because it's like a character of text, and this is all left justified. Alright, now let's see how that looks. We'll publish this post. Now we can view the post immediately, so we'll do that. So this is how it looks like on the front side, the one the visitors see. There's our banner. Here are some photos. That's the title I gave it. And you can see the crepe, drifting, fireworks in the middle, and Toby on the left. And there's where people can leave a comment. So that's cool. Now what happens when you click on it? Well, it brings up the full size of the photo in the browser. This is just a JPEG image, so the visitor has to click back. You may think that's not a real optimal way to do it. I'd agree. And in part 4, I'll show you an alternative that you can do. So that is how you attach photos to your posts. Now let's look at a new concept, and that is pages. If you look at the dashboard here, you'll see posts, which is we've already done by making 2 blog posts. But there's also pages. Now the difference is posts are things for new information, and as you add new posts, any blog page that you have on your website will show those blog posts automatically at the very top. And it'll push earlier posts down. Pages are different. These are just static pages. They're not intended to be, like an excerpt of them shown on other pages. They're just designed to be pages that you navigate to with a menu. So good use of these are like your home page, your about page, or contact page. So let's look at how we make a page. We've already looked at posts. Let's go to pages, add new. So what I want to do now is add a about page and a contact page. So let's first, here we go, add a new page. We'll add an about page. And I'll pretend to add a picture of myself. Hold on here. Again, we'll go here, select files. I'll just go back to let's use Toby's picture. And this time, I'll just add Deanne Arbus, not to imply that Deanne Arbus looks like a corgi. These are just example pictures. This time I'll use a thumbnail on the left side. I'll use it as a featured image and insert it into the post. Okay, so there you can see it's been cropped down into a square image. And let's go back to HTML Ipsum, grab some text. There we go. So that's my about page. I'll publish it. Now, how do we get to this page? Well, first let's take a look at how the page looks. We'll click on the View Page link, how it looks to visitors. And here it is, About, and that looks fine. And notice there's an About link. So let's click Home. So right now the home page shows our blog entries, both of them. Welcome to my new site was the first one, and you see it shows up below the second one we made. And if we go to About, a menu that it made on its own, just because we made a page called About, that's why it showed up here. So isn't that easy? We made a page and it automatically made a menu for us. Let's make a new page. WordPress 3.3 added this shortcut. Oh, I never did mention this. Whenever you're logged in and you're looking at the front of the website, the visitor view, you'll see this bar here that gives you shortcuts to different commands. I've been using that to get to the dashboard like this and to get back. But it has a lot of times it has a lot of handy shortcuts. Here you can log out of your account so that you'll be just like a visitor. But it has all these other cool things. So let's plus new. Let's just like adding a new page. So we'll add a contact page. Contact. And I'll just say contact me at forest-tanaka.com. That's pretty simple. And I'll make this a link. This time it's not HTTP, it's mail to, that's one word, : and then forest at forest-tanaka.com. We'll just click or type in email forest. Okay, and we'll add that link. So that's our contact page. If we publish it and then we take a look at it, you'll see now there's 3 menus. There's our contact page, there's our about page. If we go back there, there's our about page. So that's really easy. Now you may not want a contact form on your, a comment form on your contact or about page. So let's get rid of that. Let's go back to the dashboard. Let's look at our list of pages, which we can do just by clicking the pages link, the pages menu. And if we click edit, we can change it. Now, where do we turn off comments? Well, right now you can't really see anything for that, but that's because it's hidden by default. If you go up to the upper right, you'll see screen options, and then we can say, okay, I want to see comment. And if we scroll back down, we'll see comment, none yet. So we go to discussion, that's where you sort of configure commenting, and you can see it says allow comments, allow trackbacks and pingbacks. We'll turn that off too, and we'll update it. Now if we view page, we'll see those comments are turned off. Okay, so that's really handy, and that's how you make pages. So now we have pages, blog posts. Okay, so we talked about administering your site. Now let's talk about changing the look of your site. And that's all about themes. So what is a theme for WordPress? Well, a theme, boy, this is a huge topic. A theme is a set of all these HTML, CSS, JavaScript, all these kinds of things that define how a site works and looks and is organized. And so they have to be developed by people like me who are web developers, and there are so many around for WordPress. That's one of the great things about WordPress, is there are probably thousands and thousands of themes, and they're all over the place. Now, we'll talk about where to get the themes, and then how to add a theme to your website. Now, going back to what a theme is, now your site has content that's held in the MySQL database. And so if you look on the left side here, content, and this is sort of, if you had a theme that didn't really do anything, this is how it might look. It just has titles, some links, these are the menus. Don't really look like menus, but menus are, essentially links. And here's a blog post. Doesn't really look like much. So what you do is you add a theme to your WordPress site, and it takes all that content and it formats it in a certain way. And so this is where you end up with either the one theme that we were looking at, which is the default theme for WordPress 3, or some other theme that you choose. And here's a theme that I designed that I called Clean Photo. It's the same content, but it looks really different. And so that is the point of a theme. And then you can just, without changing any of the content, you can switch themes again and again to all these different themes and change the entire look of your site without changing the content. Again, that's one of the great things about WordPress. It's also a great thing about Drupal or Joomla, which have the same concept. So where can you get them? Well, now this isn't something that I'm a real expert at, because whenever I need a WordPress theme, I typically just design one myself. But I have heard of some websites, trustworthy websites, where you can get themes. Among them, Woo Themes. These are paid themes, as are most of these. There's another one called Theme Forest, another one called Obox. These 3 are ones that are really trustworthy, and they have really good themes. And for the most part, you do have to pay for them. Now there's another site with some free themes that you can trust, and that's WordPress itself. And that's at wordpress.org/extend/themes. So let's take a look at that. Alright, let's start switching themes. Let's see what happens here. So remember, the content has, well, let's just look at about, and we have contact, right? And it's all in this default theme called 2011. It comes free with WordPress. So let's go back to our dashboard, and then down to Appearance, Themes. And it shows you all the installed themes and the current one. This is the active one called 2011. And here's one other one. It's just the WordPress's older default theme called 2010. And you can switch between these, or you can go to Install Themes, this tab here. And here it gives you this nice interface to try to find an appropriate theme that you'd like. It gives you all these criteria, like you want a generally blue theme with one column, fixed width, and a bunch of other things. And then you can go searching. This is your website, but it's actually going back to WordPress.org to find a theme. And here it comes up with themes that match your criteria. A whole bunch of them. And then you can just click Install on any one of these. You can also go directly to WordPress.org and then go to this Themes tab, click that, and then you can get the same search box. So that's a way to go directly to WordPress.org, but going directly from your site works just as well. Another way to install it is if you have downloaded a theme from somewhere and you have it in a zip file, and that's the example I'm going to show here. I have the theme that I designed called Clean Photo. In my Downloads folder, it's in a zip file. So what I do here is I'll click the Upload tab here. This is under Appearance Themes, and then in the Install Themes tab. So I'll click Upload. And here it lets you choose a file. And so we'll go to this cleanphoto.zip and then Install Now. And then it'll upload this zip file to your site. It'll unpack it. And then you can click Activate. So now this is the current theme. This one that I designed specifically for photographers. Not that it's super fancy or anything, it's just to demonstrate things for this tutorial. So now nothing in the dashboard has changed, of course, but now let's look at what the visitor sees. And there you go. Remember the blog? Here are some photos. Welcome to my new site. The other thing is to notice there's a picture here for Here Are Some Photos. Remember what happened there is I assigned a featured image. This is the featured image. It's the thumbnail that represents that post. Again, you can only have one featured image per post, but you can change it. And then once you change it, well, we can even look at that. Let's look at this post. Here's the whole post, and let's say I want to change a featured image. So since I'm logged in, we'll get this bar. I'll click Edit Post. And we'll scroll down a little. I'll remove the featured image. I'll set the featured image, and then instead of uploading a new one, I just want to use one that's in this post. So I'll click the Gallery tab. These are the ones that are in the post. I'll make it the Golden Gate one. I'll click Show, then click Use as Featured Image, and there you go. And I'll click Update. All right. Now we'll go back to our home page, and there it is, our new thumbnail representing the post. So notice all the content is the same. Notice we've got menus, About and Contact. Now notice there's no home. This particular theme, I designed it not to have a home unless you click the title of the page. And notice, so now we're on the home page. Notice we have an amazing photographer, just like I said earlier. It just looks different. About should have Toby's picture. There you go. And some about text. Contact has the same content, no difference. So that's how you handle switching themes. It's very, very easy. And again, there are just so many WordPress themes that you're bound to find something you like. Now, if you need it a little more custom, or if you just happen not to find something you like, well, then you need a web designer like me to design WordPress themes. You can Most of us go under the title of WordPress developer, and so go ahead and look for that, and we can do some cool stuff for you. And so that is the end of part 3. So we're almost at the end. Next time we'll just tie things up. We'll make this a lot cleaner of a design, so that we're not looking at, if someone wants to look at your photo close up, it doesn't look that ugly. And then we'll be done, and you'll have a really nice website for your photography. At least a good starting point before you start customizing things. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in part 4.